following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Welcome to the MorganMan Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Cole Morgan. Here on the MorganMan Sports Podcast, we talk Atlanta Falcons news, pre-game predictions, and all other news surrounding the Atlanta Falcons.
Touchdown, Atlanta!
Also on the podcast, we talk Call of Duty League, esports, covering roster mania, major predictions, COD champs, player trades, and much more to get you ready for every single CDL weekend.
Scuff goes through, and Scuff snaps, wins the one-on-one, and Optic with the reverse sweep.
If that sounds good with you, put on your Falcons jersey, grab your gaming headset, and let's get this show started. What's going on, you guys? I'm your host, Stacey Cole Morgan, and you are listening to the MorganMan Sports Podcast here on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and on the Belly Up Sports YouTube page. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about the Atlanta Falcons being hosted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this Thursday night, December 11th at 8:15 p.m. Eastern in Tampa Bay, Florida on Thursday Night Football. Guys, the Atlanta Falcons have been officially eliminated from the playoffs, and now we're just fighting for, I guess, survival. So we got a lot to talk about in that situation, and also on today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the Call of Duty League and the Week 2 Major 1 qualifiers before going into the Christmas break. So without any further delay, let's go to get straight into today's action. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get the Atlanta Falcons news out of the way right here. They are being hosted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this Thursday, December 11th at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. And guys, let me tell you, the Atlanta Falcons have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. Of course, that was something that a lot of people saw coming 2 weeks ago, so it's no big surprise right here. And there's really nothing to fight for. Honestly, there's nothing to fight for in this game the rest of the season because there's only, 4 or 5 games left? And that's it. So, outside of maybe some bragging rights to improve what you've done wrong going into next season, but the damage is already done. Like, this season was supposed to be playoffs. Like, a deep playoff run, Super Bowl, potentially winning the Super Bowl, but no, we've been eliminated, at 4 wins, 9 losses now, somewhere in that range, or 4 and 8. Yeah, 4 and 9, third in the NFC South, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if the Saints honestly go in third place at this record. It just wouldn't. Oh, and we don't have a first overall pick, or a first round pick, I should say, because we traded that to the LA Rams this offseason. So, yeah, there's legit nothing to fight for in this game. But we still got to cover the stats and move on from there. So, anyway, so the stats in this game right here, ladies and gentlemen, for the game odds, the spread is a -4.5 in favor of Tampa Bay with a 67% public bet. Money line goes in favor of Tampa Bay as well at a -231 with a 91% public bet. Total over and under is 44.5 points at a 64% public bets. For team overall stats right here, ladies and gentlemen, this matchup for the Falcons offense versus the Bucs defense. Falcons offense is 16th overall in the National Football League, 19th while passing, 12th while running. Bucs defense is 21st overall in the National Football League, 27th against the pass, and 8th against the run. So Bijan and Tyler Algier is definitely going to be stopped against that defensive line. But we do have some hope in that secondary with Kirk Cousins passing to like Darnell Mooney and Kyle Pitts. Falcons defense versus Bucs offense. The Falcons defense is 14th overall in the National Football League, 10th against the pass, and 24th against the run. We've just completely allowed running backs to demolish this defensive line. But now, however, we're great at sacking the quarterback. So at least there's an improvement from last season on that one. The Bucs offense is 22nd overall in the National Football League, 21st while passing, and 20th while running the ball. So this might be an interesting matchup right here for this Falcons D-line to hold the running back. So we'll have to wait and see. Total game predictions right here. Of course, we always pick the Atlanta Falcons here. So I will say maybe 28-20. We get a miraculous touchdown and the defense comes in clutch on Thursday Night Football, and we win it by one score pretty much. And it's funny because the Monday morning, Raheem Morris, I think it was Raheem Morris, came on to the press conference on the live stream, and he basically told his players, here in a few hours, better get your butts ready for Tampa Bay because I'm not playing around. Well, where were you when the rest of the season was on the line for the playoffs? Don't get serious now and expect the committee to sit here and say, oh, well, now since they are serious, we might give them a chance in the playoffs. No. We're not Alabama, okay? Sorry, Alabama fans. But anyways, I don't like how he is now serious in his tone and saying, all right, now we have got to win games, ladies and gentlemen. Why do we got to win them now? We've traded away our first round pick. We're eliminated from the playoffs. There is nothing to legit fight for this season. So it is what it is. Like I said, 28-20. Falcons win over Tampa on prime time. And we improved to 5-9, and that's really about the best we're going to be honestly going at. So, moving on over, ladies and gentlemen, the Optic Texas Major 1 Week 2 qualifiers are here from December 12th all the way through December 14th. So we're going to we're going to say each and every single matchup and just kind of talk about past the last weekend of the opening weekend of the CDL 2026 season. So December 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern, you got the Atlanta Falcons versus Carolina Royal Ravens. At 4:30 p.m., December 12th, you got the Minnesota Rocker taking on the Boston Breach. And finally, December 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern, in the main event, you got the Vancouver Surge taking on the KOI Toronto. Or Toronto KOI, however you want to say it. December 13th, the kickoff at 3 p.m. Eastern, you got the Paris Mates, formerly known as the LAG, Los Angeles Guerrillas, taking on the unstoppable right now LA Thieves, and they look unstoppable. I think, honestly, already early season predictions, it's going to be LA Thieves versus Optic Texas. That's just my pick. Speaking of Optic Texas, they are the next matchup in December 13th on 4:30 p.m. Eastern against the Miami Heretics. And the Miami Heretics, I'm having to tell you, now I didn't really get to see much of their matchup this past weekend, but from comparing from last week or last season, Miami Heretics can really be a team to really upset the major ones and potentially win the whole thing this year. So we'll have to wait and see. December 13th at 6 p.m. Eastern in the main event, you got the Vancouver Surge taking on the New York Cloud9 team. Really interested in that one. Now, December 14th, this Sunday, the Atlanta Falcons versus the Boston Breach. At 3 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, you got the Miami Heretics taking on C9 New York. And finally, in the main event, December 14th at 6 p.m. Eastern, you got the Toronto KOI taking on the Vegas Falcons. Or Vegas FaZe. Vegas FaZe. All right, so we got that right. All right, so that's all the matchups. until January 9th, because, again, we had the Christmas break coming up. I don't know why they do 2 weekends in a row and then all of a sudden take 2-3 weeks off for Christmas break. You should have just done it on January, like the brand new year, the 2026 season. But I digress. But anyway, so FaZe, they're 1-1. They lost to, oh Lord, who did they lose to? Oh, it was LA Thieves, a clean 3-0 sweep. And then I think it was Gentlemates that they faced this past weekend. Barely got past that, and in a 3-2. So this is the same FaZe team as it was back out in Atlanta, but now in Vegas. I don't know what to say about FaZe right now, ladies and gentlemen. I just really don't. They are a good team. They really are. Draza and Simp, definitely, ever since their beef has been ended, what, two years ago, they've been on a monstrous run together. But now, since the trio with aBeZy and Celium ain't there, this team just looks absolutely lost. Like, they just don't know where to go from. Celium looks lost on the Falcons. aBeZy, he's the only one that's looking dominant away from Simp. So the question I ask everybody listening to the show right now and on the blog post on bellyupsports.com is aBeZy's success right now on the Los Angeles Thieves due to him being held back from FaZe with Simp and Celium? That's the question I want to know. Yes, we know Simp definitely aBeZy had his biggest moments with FaZe. But he wasn't Superman either. He had carried that team all the way. He still needed help from like Draza, Celium, and Simp. But still, there was plenty of times where he did carry the team. Not the entire match, but maybe for like a series or two. But now he's just absolutely on a roll. I think this past weekend against FaZe, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had like a 15 kill streak going on. So that is very interesting. But I do want to ask that question. And everybody please answer on X or on the Belly Up Sports blog page for where you are reading this blog from and listening to it, by the way, too. Was Simp and Celium holding aBeZy back in FaZe? And now, since he's been released, he's an absolute unit to not reckon with. So that's the question I do want to bring up right there, ladies and gentlemen. But let's talk about past this last weekend. So the Los Angeles Thieves and Optic Texas have already opened the 2026 Call of Duty League season on the front foot, winning their 2 Major 1 qualifying matches. At the first week of matches, the pair topped the table with a 2-0 record, putting both teams in a strong position to secure a place in the winner's bracket of the Call of Duty Black Ops 7 first LAN tournament of the season, which is the Optic Texas Major 1. The LA Thieves topped the table following the signing of Tyler aBeZy Paris and Kenny Williams. LA Thieves kicked off its Black Ops 7 season with a hard-fought 3-0 sweep over FaZe Vegas, generating some early momentum. The Right Eye Falcons handed LA Thieves its first map loss of the new campaign, grabbing a 250-236 win on Scar Hardpoint to secure an early series lead. However, LA bounced back with a 6-0 sweep on Den Search and Destroy before dominating Den Overload in a 5-1 to take the lead. The Falcons put up a fight on Exposure Hardpoint, but LA held firm to take a map 250-207 to round off a 3-1 victory and another 10 CDL points added. The defending champs start strong. The defending Call of Duty League champions Optic Texas head into the Black Ops 7 season as the only franchise not making a roster change. Its open match against the Right Eye Falcons demonstrated that the green wall remains strong. A 3-0 sweep of the Falcons cemented its place as a front-runner, building on its Monster Energy launch invitational triumph in November. A new look G2 Minnesota looked to give the defining champion a run for its money with a 250-197 win on Scar Hardpoint to kick off the best of 5. Optic Texas showcased its clinical teamwork across Raid Search and Destroy and Den Overload to move within one map of a second victory. The Green Wall avenged its earlier Hardpoint defeat on Exposure, winning 250-113 to secure a 3-1 victory and a place at the top of the table alongside the LA Thieves. Now, there are struggles for the Ride-Off Falcons. So the Ride-Off Falcons definitely does consist of the GOAT himself, Celium, and they're not doing good. They're really not. Celium is our only best player they got. Following the defeats of Optic Texas and the LA Thieves, two of the strongest franchises competing in the CDL, the Ride-Off Falcons already find itself on the back foot. Matches against the Carolina Royal Ravens and Boston Breach in Week 2 act as an opportunity for the franchise to score its first win and looks to secure a place in the Major 1 winners bracket. The second week of Major 1 qualifiers begin December 12th with 12 franchises in action once again as the battle for the top 8 begins to heat up. Fans could tune in on YouTube and on Twitch. So definitely, guys, very interesting things going on in the Call of Duty League. I'm excited for this weekend right here. Unfortunately, I will be doing some Christmas parties with some family, so I might be in and out on some of the CDL action, but still, nevertheless, it's going to be an interesting one for me to watch on the replay from Monday. But guys, I sure hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like button wherever you are listening from: iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. But until then, Stacey Morgan, catch you all later. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.